Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Well, hey, good morning. How are you? I am feeling great. I think you hear my kettle boiling in the background. That's okay. I'll have to kick my compressor on. Some things just, technology can be fun, even when it isn't. If that makes any sense. So I hope everybody's doing good this morning. I am feeling really good on a Friday. Yes, I'm going to start the show solo. Mr. Beaver will join shortly. While he's on the road. So he's going to be on his phone joining from parts unknown, somewhere between K-Town and Ottawa on the 401 to the 416 while he is on a bus. And I am enjoying a great cup of coffee this morning. So yes, we would like to start off the day as we always do by, oh, there he is. Let's see if you can hear him. If we can hear him well, and he can start the show for us. Good day,
Hello
sir.
there.
Hey, yeah, you're audible, and there's not a lot of background noise, so that's pretty good.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Well, hey, this is an experiment. Daily Beaver Morning Show first. Well,
There you
good
go.
morning. And hello, kids, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 310 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on...
314.
Oh, sorry.
314.
314, sorry. The Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Dry Media Network. I'm on the road, yeah.
Yeah, it's working. I'm surprised like that there's like almost no background noise. Now your voice isn't as strong as it normally is because you're just on earbuds, but there's no background noise, so that's pretty good.
Well, I'm on a mega bus, so I actually went upstairs and went to the front of the bus, so there's far away from the engine and the road.
That makes sense. Yeah, that definitely helps.
Always thinking.
And, well, and you get a good view too up there, don't you, dude? I've never been on one, so.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Take a look.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, and it's going to be very mild today too. +7 is the high here in Canada's capital. I don't know what it was in Kingston. I didn't check, but I think it was 10 in Toronto yesterday. So, old man winter's been taking a beating this year.
Indeed, we haven't had much of one at all.
No, we've had, I think, 2 significant snowfalls. One at the beginning of December, one just after Christmas, if memory serves. Like literally 2 significant snowfalls, and again, not even that significant. 10, 15 centimeters. That's
And
not.
no cold snap.
No,
No cold snap
we
at all
had.
yet.
We literally had, I think, 3 days where it was -25 to -28. 3.
Yeah. Wait,
Sometimes we'll get 3 weeks of that.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
16 degrees today in Windsor. 15.
Jeez.
Oh, wow. Just 13 in Toronto, 15 where Linda is, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, Linda, southwestern Ontario? I don't recall. My apologies.
Yep.
You did tell me the name. It's a smaller town where Linda's from, if memory serves.
Yes. I'm your host, the Daily Beaver, pronouns he, him, he, Mr. Beaver A, and with me as always is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. A big thank you goes to our podcast founding sponsors, the Flabbergasted, the Mystery Mysteries from Corbin Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. I do not know what kind of a show we have for you today because I am without tabs today.
Well, that's okay.
Because
We're
I
going to be
only have
winging it a
one
little bit.
screen,
I've got
so it should
another.
be interesting.
I've got another guest that's going to join us shortly. A bit of a surprise guest.
Okay,
Gonna help out with hosting duties today.
all right. Mr. Grizzly, how is your mental health this morning?
Surprisingly good, actually. When you consider that yesterday I was in an incredible amount of physical pain, head to toe, and I wasn't feeling. You know how usually when you're feeling ill, you have all over body aches. Mine, I think, is just Father Time catching up with me, along with the old injuries coming back to haunt me from my days of athleticism, as I was a pretty serious, well, serious. I was pretty serious about the hockey I played. I was never that good because obviously I never went on to earn a living doing it, but I loved it. And there's a part of me that does miss it, and I would like to get back into it, but I'm going to have to ease back into it. You're supposed to get in shape to play hockey, not play hockey to get in shape. Although I'm a goaltender, so in my instance, it's going to require yoga and a lot of stretching.
Yep. Never miss an opportunity to stretch.
Yoga is the big thing. I think it'll help with my spinal flexibility. My hips are very flexible. My issue is I've got a very stiff spine because 3 lower discs are starting to degenerate and calcify.
Okay. Yay. All right. Well, Mr. Grizzly, why don't you start us off this morning? You got something?
Sure thing. So I don't know if you happen to see the fact that I'm looking at it right here, and it's amazing the amount of people looking for Vladimir Putin right now. And I'm wondering if they're all bots or if they're paid. But they're stumping for Vladimir Putin because of the interview that Tucker Carlson just conducted in conducted in Kremlin in Moscow. And the interview is basically a puff piece. He had hard-hitting questions like those that are delivered to Pierre Poilievre by any of the favored media outlets he chooses to use. And a lot of people are coming to Putin's defense because Putin says, in the war of propaganda, it's very difficult to defeat the United States because the United States controls all of the world's media. Look.
The United States does not control the world's media. It's just that the United States became the best at exporting culture.
Correct. You got to remember there's an entire United Kingdom that has their own independent newspapers, India, China. None of those are controlled by the United States of America. Now, the U.S. has been slowly infiltrating Canadian media and taking it over the last, 15 years, thanks to Stephen Harper, selling off and allowing the selling off of Canadian media outlets to U.S. ownership by having a larger stake, 60% or higher in some cases.
Yes.
And that, of course, allows them to control the narrative, and in which case it is very often a right-wing spun narrative because Chatham Asset Management, which is the hedge fund that controls Post Media, is largely a GOP-related and funded Christian right-wing evangelical pile of shit. Is what it is, because there's nothing Christian about anything they do. They just want to control you and control the narrative. So Putin's right in the sense that it's difficult to defeat the U.S. on propaganda, but this isn't anything anybody with an ounce of sense didn't already know.
Correct.
I mean, come on. This is not news, people. So people coming in stumping for him, it's just disgusting.
Yeah. And then I've seen all these tweets where apparently he refers to the invitation of Uncut.
Yeah.
To the parliament. And all these people go, oh my God, Putin mentioned Uncut. It's like, because his word has any worth of credibility.
Yeah.
Right? So we have this whole group of people, whether or not they're real Canadians or not.
That's up for debate.
That's the other thing too, right? Online is not real life.
No.
Every morning when I wake up, the first thing that I need to do when I got on my Twitter is block 12 porn bot accounts that have all decided to follow me or like my tweet while I was sleeping.
Yeah.
Hello, Russia. So, you know, all these people are like, oh my God, dude. Like, first of all, one, are you even Canadian? Two,
Mm.
you know, are you an actual person that actually went down the rabbit hole, or are you just someone who's being paid to pollute our sites with this content? Because the bot farms, well, they do exist. There are actual people who are paid who have sold their souls,
Yes.
like just
Literally.
spreading this type of content online, whether they believe it or not. And then you get the people that, you know, when we were talking to JB last week, like his dad was like trying to be, they were trying to pull down the rabbit hole. Fortunately, JB was able to get him back. But one of these strategies is to try to, because they know there are more of us than there are them, they have to try to make themselves think there are more of them than there are of us. Anyway, so it's trying to push this narrative of inevitability. It's inevitable that terror is going to win. Don't resist. Don't fight it. Just accept it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Right? And then they get you to check out or not pay attention or just give up. I mean, this is a strategy.
That's totally that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And you're absolutely right. These are people who sold their soul to the highest bidder because all they want is money. They care nothing about the damage that's done. They don't care.
Yeah.
Doesn't concern them.
I mean, you just have to look at Danielle Smith, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if you have access to my timeline, Mr. Grizzly, but there's a video I posted this morning of Danielle Smith circa 2014.
Okay, yeah, I know it. Let me see if I can find it here.
Yes, and if Mr. Grizzly is able to play it, makes you wonder, well, gee, Danielle, what happened to you? Well, this would have been a Danielle before and after Take Back Alberta got their claws into her. Now, we know what she got on her end of the deal because she was somebody who then said she was never going to merge her parties and then did and then cut the boot and then went back to a career in broadcasting. And all of a sudden, even though she was rejected, suddenly got plucked out of the wilderness and rehabilitated. And now there's a whole slew of people online that are saying that, oh my God, she's an icon. What a great leader. Gee, Ontario, we need one just like you. And gee, Danielle, when you're done with Alberta, please run for Prime Minister. All that kind of stuff. But just like Danielle was once Marlena, Danielle Smith, 2024, was not always Danielle Smith 2024.
I have her from 2014. Here it is.
That we need to find a balance with parental rights and with religious freedom. I think we need to also respect that in the case of these mature youths, this really is a case of life or death for some of them. We really do have a number of youths who have nowhere else to go if they're not accepted by their community, not accepted in their home environment. And it's a very confusing time to go through puberty at the best of times. These kinds of, I respect that we need to find a balance.
Sorry, it just repeats itself. So she went from being this libertarian who, she is a libertarian. There we go. I couldn't get that to shut off. She is a libertarian. She has the Sumerian liberty tattoo on her arm. She went from somebody caring about children to somebody who is going to tell children what they can and can't do.
Yeah. There's another clip of her too that I was looking at. I didn't think that was well, there was that one, but there's another one as well. I'd have to be correcting each of it. It's the article that Dean wrote about the telephone survey. They came up after Danielle made her announcement. I don't know if you might be able to find it.
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't see it here though.
It has the image on the telephone, and then looking at the pictures, you'll probably have to scroll down a couple of days. But in there's another quote, another clip of her from the legislature during that same speech where she's talking about kids who, in that clip, you just notice she talked about mature children making decisions and fight. And this was in the context of fighting for GSAs when Kenny was looking at it, making it mandatory that to participate in the Gay Straight Alliance, that you would have to get the permission of your parents. So basically to out yourself. So it's basically the same strategy here with the trans stuff. And in Alberta, it's kind of interesting. It's like, no, you don't need your parents' permission, but you do have to inform them that you're doing it. Clever little language there. Because, if you're going to inform your parents that you're doing it, and it's going to get you smacked across the room, well, you're not going to inform them that you're doing it, right? So it's like permission. In other words, saying, no, permission doesn't matter. You don't have total permission to do it. You just have to inform them. It's like, meh. So that's right up there with saying, hey, no, you can use puberty blockers, but only after puberty's happened.
Yeah.
The law allows you to use puberty blockers, just not when you need them. The law allows you to join. Because you don't need the permission of the person you fear will beat you. You have to get the permission, but you do have to let them know. Pretty much the same thing, just different word. But yeah, in that one, she's talking about all the ages at which children have the ability to make these types of decisions and work like for distance servants before the age of 18. Like, for example, emancipating yourself from your parents. You can decide that at 16.
Mm-hmm.
Or when it is you're going to start having sexual relations. You get to decide that before you're 18 as well.
Well,
these are also life-altering decisions.
The legal age of consent in Canada is 16 if your partner is within 2 years of that age.
Yes.
So either 14 or 18.
And at the time when she said it, it used to be 14 because that was
That's right.
before Harper changed the law.
Yeah, well, and at the time she said it, the legal age of consent was 14. So at that time.
At that time.
And this sounds icky as can be, but this is how the law was. At that time, I could have married a 14-year-old girl because she's not a woman at that age, even though she probably could conceive. I could marry a 14-year-old girl because that was the age of consent.
If you were 2 years less than egg.
Yes. And she needed parents' permission, I believe, to marry at 14. But legally, it could have been done. So here's how the law. This is why they changed the rules, because I could have married a 14-year-old girl, which is ew, and we could have every conceivable, possible, imaginable style of pornographic sex you can think of, completely legal, because you're married. However, the way the law worked, if you took a photograph of it, you've just committed a crime.
Yeah.
Because she's a minor. So I'm like, yeah, that law needed to change for good reason, because really, 55-year-old man marrying a 14-year-old, that's disgusting because she's a girl.
Was a 55-year-old man? I thought it still had to be within 2 years.
No, now the law has changed, but back then, I could have. Back then, I could have married. At my age, I could have married a 14-year-old girl. That's what I'm saying. And again, you could have every type of conceivable, imaginable pornographic sex you can think of, and you've done nothing wrong unless you take a picture of it, in which case you've just created child porn with your spouse. That's why they changed the rules. Well, that and amongst a few other things, why they changed the law, which was, a holdover from 150 years ago.
Yeah.
14-year-olds would marry 20-year-olds all the time back then.
That's
true. It's not uncommon. Back then, like 150 years ago, it was quite common. You were of birthing age, get in there and be a broodmare. I mean, You needed children to help work the land, work the farm, take care of you. And you probably had a lot of children because most of them weren't going to make it out of childhood, right?
That's true.
They'd get measles or mumps or rubella. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't that kind of happening right now with idiot people who've decided that vaccines are bad because a former playmate on Facebook said so? How is it we live in the most informed time in history with access to all of the world's knowledge right here in the palm of my hand? Every piece of knowledge on earth is available to me right now, live. And yet we live in the dumbest time. The dumbest time.
Look, it's like this. It's like the saying goes: you can lead a horse to college, but you can't make it think.
Well, this is true. This is true. I like that.
Oh God. Do you have anything else, Mr. Grizzly?
Well, there's a couple of different things here I'm trying to pull together. One of them, actually, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to run this video. A friend of mine sent this to me, and I thought maybe we can help somebody out here. This is a woman in, let me just see, well, she's looking for her brother. Let me just run this video. It's a woman. She can introduce herself, and we'll just watch this. It's a TikTok video.
Good morning, TikTok. I don't normally post a lot on TikTok. I'm not TikTok famous. I'm not an influencer, but I'm reaching out because I need your help. I need TikTok to do their thing. My brother, Matthew McGrath, he goes by Matt, has been missing now for 21 days in the town of Carlson Place, Ontario. We have no new information. He was last seen leaving his apartment in Carlson Place, heading towards downtown. Downtown Carlson Place is a small town. Please keep your eye open. Share my TikToks, stitch my TikToks, duet my TikToks, tag any influencer you know that has a huge reach. I would never come on here and ask for help unless I'm desperate. My brother is all I have left. Our parents are gone, and it's just him and I. And I need him to come home. I'm begging for your help. I need to know he's safe. I need to know he's okay. I need to get him home. Again, I'm not an influencer. I'm not popular on Facebook. I'm not popular on TikTok, but I need your help. I'm asking anyone and everyone anywhere, especially in Ontario, Canada, to share his picture. He could be anywhere. We don't know the situation on why he left or how he disappeared. He was last seen on foot. He does not drive. This is his missing poster. Please look at his picture. He's about 5'10", 150 pounds, tall and slim. He's got bushy hair, blondish gray. Normally does not wear a ball cap. He loves the Montreal Canadiens. He's a big sports fan. He may have injured his back, so may not be walking correctly. He's a smoker. We don't know if he has money on him. He's wearing a leather coat that's brown, jeans, and black sneakers. I'm asking the TikTok world and Facebook world to please share, no matter where you are in Canada or the country. I just want him home, safe and sound. If you spot him anywhere or have any information, please call the Ontario Provincial Police at 1-888-310-1122. Again, my brother's name is Matthew McGrath. He goes by Matt or Matty. He's 52. We just want to bring him home, please.
Well, that's pretty heavy. Oh, I think Mr. Beaver is frozen. Can you hear me, Mr. Beaver? Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, you're back. That's really heavy duty. Mohan was asking about the picture. I will do a screen grab and post it to my Twitter. So if anybody wants to go and grab it and reshare it, please. I'll do that as soon as I can once we've wrapped the show for today. So that's pretty heartbreaking. My friend Janet Lynn sent that to me and asked me if I could help out. I'm like, of course I'll help out. This woman is just heartbroken that her brother is missing. So let's see what we can do to make things a little bit better if we can help out. I hope it turns out to be a happy ending, but that's really questionable right now. That's pretty heavy, but sometimes that's just how the world is, heavy.
I'm not sure.
So,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. It's cutting in and out because I think you're getting into a bit of a dead zone there. There are some dropout zones. Yeah, your signal's almost off. So what I'll do is I'm gonna pull you for a few minutes, sir, and I'll watch your signal and I'll bring you back in. Okay. And joining me in a second here, we have another guest. Oh, look at that. And your headset. Slide over towards me a little bit more. Oh, I'm blocking lights here.
It's a tight spot.
I know.
Okay.
Here, put this here. Headset on. There you go. There we go. Oh, hang on. There you go.
You're not allowed to put me on mute.
I had to have the microphone muted before you joined. Raising the roof on a Friday morning.
And the hair. I know we're talking about important things, but can I talk about my hair for a second?
Go ahead. So just lean here. Let me get you in frame a bit more. We'll just adjust that like that. There you go.
So, thank you. Thank you, James. I usually when I wake up in the morning, I look like Rod Stewart slept in a dumpster, and my hair is very big.
I'm not saying anything.
And I said, "Well, I'm just Paul. I'm just gonna like try to look normal before I come on to the camera." And he's like, "You could just put on a hat." Like, thank you.
Well, I mean, you would. I said hats are options. That's what I said.
Like, I guess I could, but fuck it. Fuck it. It's Friday.
We're very spicy this morning. I see. Okay, waiting for Mr. Beaver will come back in a few minutes once we have a better feed. I did want to share the best alarm clock I've ever seen. You'll get a kick out of this. Yeah, it's a bald guy thing. Yeah, exactly. Let's see if I can get this to roll. Here we are. Best alarm clock ever. That's the best alarm clock ever. Awesome. Let's see if we can get Mr. Beaver. Look like you got a signal again. I'll bring you back in, and we'll see if how you're sounding, how you're looking. Let's see. Oh, you got to squeeze in a bit. I know what I'll do. Hang on. I'll do.
It's too early in the morning for squeezing.
Wait a minute, I'm not ready yet.
Oh, okay. All right. Give us a
Hi,
minute. I'll bring you
Douglas.
back in a moment. There we go. You can see the bit of the green screen because I'm standing in front of one of my lights now, so it's taking away from the perfection that I normally have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 lights on us to try and get this lit as well as possible. Green screens, as you can tell, require an awful lot of lighting effects. So here we are on a Friday morning, and I've got you in a kitchen chair, not a. I have an office chair, but if we brought that one in, it would be too big, I think, for this space.
Yeah, no, this is comfy.
Okay, good stuff.
And Linda, I wasn't sure. Were you saying that Paul would rock a fedora, or I would? Because I'm gonna go get one because I can't look at this one. I can't look at this anymore.
Could you grab me a coffee while you're at it?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Thanks, babe. Very, very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. See if I can fix the lighting here. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll worry about that later. No panic, indeed. Mr. Beaver, give me a nod in the green room if you are ready to go. Oh, he's frozen. Looks like we've got another frozen. We've got a frozen beaver. Nobody wants a frozen beaver. Okay. Never heard that one before. According to James, Bridget is Cyndi Lauper's bastard.
I'll take that.
Okay, she'll take that. Oh, and she's wearing my hat. It looks really good on you too, actually. Yeah, no, it looks really good on you. Although I don't know what you're going to do for headphones. You'll have to put them back behind your neck, I guess. Oh yeah, here. This is I've got a story we're going to share here in a second. Mr. Beaver, looks like you're good to go. Are you good to go, sir?
Yep, I am.
Okay. So,
Hello. That's you look hot there.
Oh, Douglas, your hat's looking
Hello,
good too.
lovely. Yes.
no, we'll have to go like this because
Yeah, we'll have
if
to
I
go
do this, it cuts you out and there's just not enough room in the frame. So we'll do this for today.
I could read his lips though, and he's like, "Girl, you look good," and I'm like, "Dude, you look good too."
So this story has the other clip you were talking about, sir?
Yeah, it does.
The link you sent me? Well, that's got the clip. Okay, hang on. I'll open that up. Okay, yeah, I see it now. All right, I got it. Give me a sec here, and I will bring this up on the screen. And we will share with you Danielle Smith and her words of wisdom. Oh, it looks like you're going under a bridge there, sir. I'll bring you back in a moment.
Yep.
Yeah, because we're losing your signal. That's what happens when you're on the road. So have a look at this. This is Danielle Smith in 2014 regarding Bill 10, an act to amend the Alberta Bill of Rights to protect our children.
At the age of 12, a child, if they've got a split home, can choose to live with mom or dad. So we recognize that a child as young as 12 can choose which parent they want to live with. At age 14, they can choose to have sex, as long as it's within somebody who's within a close age to them and not somebody who's in a position of authority over them. At age 16, they can become emancipated from their parents and make entire education decisions on their own. So there is, with these children, somewhere in the age of sexual maturity, somewhere above the age of 14 when they're in high school, where they really have the ability and right to be able to make their own decisions about the kind of support that they feel that they need to feel accepted. And that, to me, at the age of 12, a child, if they've got a...
That's, yeah, let's see. I can bring Mr. Beaver back in. He's got a good signal again. I can monitor your signal in the corner of the screen so I can tell when you're dropping in and out. So before you even freeze, I can just, I'll keep my eye on it from here. So that way you can still have a good, yeah. Although, I don't know if you saw James's comment here. I'm going to put it on the screen because it's really funny and I think you'll get a kick out of it. Oh, where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. Okay. I'm not going to read it out loud.
I can't see it because you guys are frozen on my screen
Oh, okay. Well, James's comment, I'll read it out loud then. Every
There it is.
time
I got
dumb...
it. There we go.
You see it? Okay. This is a good one. It's a funny one. Write it down. Write it down.
I'd just like a question answered, which was sorry, I can't remember who asked it, about how many people are on the bus with you, Douglas. And I'd like to know, can anybody hear this?
No, he's got earbuds in, so nobody will hear.
Nobody else can hear it, but they can hear me a little bit. But there's only about maybe 5 other people in here, and I'm running set seat way at the front, so hopefully I'm disturbing as few people as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that clip was very interesting. Danielle now, she seems to have changed her tune. And there seems to be some articles out today saying that I guess people are starting to ask her who she consulted, because she keeps on bringing up that story of that one transgender person. And she assures us that she has consulted widely, but for some reason, nobody with whom she has consulted is stepping up to say, yeah, that's true. And she does not have a list of at least community-based organizations and medical-based organizations with whom she has allegedly consulted widely to produce proactively. I wouldn't expect her to produce, and I wouldn't expect anybody to ask to say individuals with whom you consulted, because this is a very private issue. But you should be able to say whether or not you consulted with the Alberta Pediatric Society or not.
Yeah, and she has
community-based organizations that have a long history and a proven track record of providing successful services to the transgender community. So I don't know with whom she consulted widely, but she assures us that she did. But then again, she says a lot of things.
She says a lot of things, and a lot of them are garbage. And pulled from her well, yeah.
I know it's so easy to go there.
It is, and I'm really, really fighting to not do it. I'm really trying to hold back this morning, because it's Friday and we want to have a little bit lighter day. We've had a couple of heavy days this week. Last week was a heavy week. Holy crap! I mean, so yeah, let's try and keep it a little lighter today if we can. I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if it's right for us to do that. What do you think?
I think we have to talk about the hard things, and we also have to take a break just to bring some joy back to our hearts, so that we can keep, oh gosh, I'm getting like all churchy or something, so that we can carry on, because we can't dwell on the hard stuff all the time, because you'll burn out, right?
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah,
very, very true.
That's very wise. I agree. That's why we try to balance it out a little bit,
Pardon?
A little bit of silliness and bring some news about Canadians that make us proud and all that kind of stuff. Oh, since we want to talk about light stuff, the Juno Award nominations came out a couple of days ago.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen them yet. Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably bring them up. That way you can probably give a couple of kudos. But the way I found out about it actually is through the leader of the opposition of New Brunswick, Susan Holt, because she had put up a little clip of her talking. I think they were in a hardware store or something like that in New Brunswick, and she was talking with one of her candidates. And out of the blue, Maestro Fresh West just popped up.
Yeah, he's in St. John. He moved to St. John during the pandemic.
Yep, he just popped up and announced to them that he had just found out that he had got a nomination for Juno this year. So that's how I knew that they were out. And you'll never guess in what category. The most unlikely category you would suspect.
Country?
Best children's album.
Oh, okay. No. Well, I think country would be pretty unexpected too. I mean,
as well, yeah.
Did you know that?
But yeah,
there's a TikTok Juno Fan Choice Award.
Yes.
And some of the nominees, I'm sorry, but I've never heard of. Actually, most of the nominees I've never heard of. I guess I'm getting old and not spending enough time on TikTok.
Shub's on the list. DJ Shub? I think so.
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
From Tribe Called Red.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
formerly
assume that's
Tribe Called Red.
Yeah, I assume that's who it is. What else have we
well,
got here? Single of the year. Confetti, Charlotte Cardin. Always, Daniel Caesar. Pretty Girl, Era. I can't read that. A Little Bit Happy Talk. And Greedy from Tate McRae.
Okay. Greedy.
International Album of the Year.
Hold on.
What's that?
I posted Greedy on my Twitter feed a couple of days ago for the show. I did not know this song existed until the NHL All-Star game, because apparently she performed at the NHL All-Star game on the ice, and apparently some of the people were like leading some hockey teams and some other events, and she was there. If you watch the video, first of all, Greedy has become so totally my jam right now because of the lyrics. It's pretty saucy. But Tate McRae was, I think, on So You Think You Can Dance, the United States version a while ago. She was one of the first Canadians to ever make it on the show. So now she sings, she dances, the whole thing. She can really dance, and you can really see it in that video. But if you watch it, she starts off the video driving a Zamboni, and never has hockey gear been made to look so damn steamy. That video is so damn Canadian, it's ridiculous.
And that's Tate McRae?
Banger.
Tate McRae.
Yes, and the song's a total banger.
I've never heard of this person.
You have to listen to it. It's worth your time.
Okay.
I've been like dancing in my kitchen and in my office and in my bedroom and everywhere like the last 4 days. I'm completely obsessed with the song. So
Tate McRae is 20. She's up for the Juno TikTok Fan Choice Single of the Year for her hit song Greedy, and Artist of the Year, where she is up against Charlotte Cardin, Daniel Caesar, Laura Spencer Smith, and Shania Twain. She's been nominated for 12 Junos since 2021. Wow, so she started young.
Yep. And she was actually performing at the Billboard Awards this year as well.
Wow. How have I never heard of her?
I know, I didn't.
Maybe
there is one song that you...
We're old.
Well, here's when I went back
and
looked at her. Yeah, when I went back and looked at her catalog, there is one song that I had heard before, but I didn't know the name. But it was popular about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And All I Want to Be, I think is the name of the song. But it's she's got everything that I don't have, and I just want to be like that. Anyway, if you listen to radio, you probably the chorus will mean something to you because it was everywhere, but I just never knew who sang it. So I thought, oh, here's this new person, and then I said, wait a minute, I've seen this video before for that other song. Well, so she has been around for, I think this might be she maybe had like 2 EPs before having a full album out or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pardon? Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead. Jump
in. I just want to apologize, Douglas, if I cut you off, because I can't hear you. So I might say something that has nothing to do with what you just said.
I can't figure out. Let me have your headphones for a sec.
What I wanted to, so I'm like, if I seem like I'm cuckoo bananas, because
you'll know
apropos
why.
of nothing. But I just wanted to thank Donna, because this relates to country and prairie, and because there's a lot of prairie folks that are fans of the show. But Donna said, I like your earrings. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the woman who made them, lives in my neighborhood, but we both have roots in Manitoba. And her name is, her creator name is Mischief. Like she's Métis, but she spells it Mischief. It's really cool. So she posted these, and I just messaged her right away, and I said, what are they? Like, she said, well, they're inspired by prairie grass. And I said, well, I have to have them. And I'm like, how can I get them? And she said, well, I live about 2 blocks away. You want me to just come over? I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. So when we started talking about, living in rural Manitoba and things like that, and it was just such a cool connection. So I did wear them on purpose this morning because just wanted to shout out to the prairies and this incredible artist that I got to know.
Very cool. Very cool. Let me try your headphones. I'm trying to figure out why you can't hear Mr.
Thanks,
Beaver.
James.
Let me see, sir. If you could speak for a minute, just so I can hear you. Oh, we've lost Mr. Beaver. His signal's dropped off.
I lived to answer you, Hugh. I lived outside of Brandon, but I went to school in Brandon, and Yeah, I think, Cassie, that's why we get along. I know this. So I used to take the bus in. I have some pretty wild stories about being a kid in rural Manitoba. Taking the bus in. We didn't have rules on the bus. we had a bus driver. This is documented, but he kind of lost his sanity, and he started running train tracks. Like, he would be driving us, and we'd all be like, we'd have a boom box at the back of the bus, and we were like listening to Quiet Riot, and then we're like, it seems like Mr. Kuiper's driving really fast today. And he's like, oh yeah, I think he's gonna run the train, And we were just like, I don't know, it doesn't, I guess we'll just turn up the music and hope everything goes all right. That's true. He got fired, so it all worked out.
It's pretty scary if you get right down to it. I mean, my goodness gracious.
And my where we waited for the bus, I would walk down to the end of the road, and some of the farmers that lived nearby made us a shack out of hay bales, so you were warm. I don't know if it was safe, but it was warm.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time outdoors in the winter when you lived on the prairies, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. Sometimes it was not at your choosing?
No, it was not always great. There was some difficult times in my childhood when, anyway, I got sent outside to play and not allowed back in. But I did have a really awesome snowsuit. It was army green, all one piece.
Nice.
Very, very warm, very stylish. Very 70s.
Oh, I've no doubt. Well, yeah, because you were born in what, 1973, right?
72, yeah.
72. Oh, yeah, because it was December just before. Yeah, well, yeah. So, yeah, wow. So you do remember the 70s then?
I do. I'm surprised I made it through. It's like, put on your seatbelt or don't, take peanut butter to school or don't.
Play lawn darts. Ride a bike without a helmet.
Oh, yeah. Go to the neighbor's farm and shoot a gun.
Well, it
at
was
cans.
I read a thing the other day online. It was like how the millennials said, don't mess with Gen X, and here's why. And it was kind of cute because they went on about how you have to understand Gen X, they don't say anything. They're quiet. They're in the background. But you do not mess with them because they've basically been on their own since they were 7. They learned how to cook full meals at 8. They were, their parents, in the summertime, their parents said, get out of the house at 7 o'clock in the morning. Don't come back until the street lights come on. If they ate anything, it was at a friend's or neighbor's place where they may have gotten a sandwich if a parent was home and made them something, or the house was unlocked. We drank out of garden hoses. We played lawn darts. We swam in places that were not safe to swim in. We rode bikes without helmets. We used to, remember doing this, bunking? So in the wintertime, you'd grab onto the back of a bus bumper and let it pull you along the icy streets, or we'd grab onto the back of a pickup truck with our skateboards or our bicycles. Yeah. How are we still alive?
We have to talk about tetherball. Oh, sorry, Douglas. I'm cutting you off. Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm Gen X, and by the age of 5, I already knew how to cook 5 meals. And I went to do groceries alone, and came back, and I could do groceries alone, and I didn't come back with only Captain Crunch toilet paper.
Can you hear him now?
No, but I can read. I can read his lips.
Okay.
5 meals. You could cook 5 meals.
No, when he was 5.
That's incredible.
5, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have mad respect for that.
I have no idea why you can't hear him.
It's okay. Does anyone? So I remember one of the meals I had. I don't know why I remember this, but it was like, just at someone's house. Everyone's hungry. A couple of kids. So we're like, oh, there's a Sara Lee cake in the freezer. I mean, that should do it. It's just no plates. Just eat. We ate the whole thing. It was delicious.
What Linda says here, we rode in the back of pickups at full speed down dirt roads. Yes. We did. This is legitimate things we did. I don't know how we're still alive.
Cassie, I'm so jealous you got to ride a horse. Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
No, but we're just winging it.
I don't know why.
So Cassie and I are the same age. That is so cool. And I got to look at horses because they were near where I lived. But I was so jealous of girls with horses. I'm just like, they're basic. Oh, I'm not going to say it. They're like 2,000-pound vibrators.
Well, sure. Yeah. I guess.
I read that in a novel. I didn't make it up.
There's someplace
So it's just funny.
I know what I did here. Give you the wrong headphones. Here, you need to use these. Hang on.
Yeah.
No,
we got the kids in the chat going. So talking about the McCain cakes too. When you mentioned this earlier, what's the first place I went? McCain deep and delicious cakes
Delicious. Sometimes
with the plastic on the
you
top.
don't even have to cook the
Oh,
cake
God.
mix. You can just eat it. It's delicious.
Raw cake mix.
Yeah, exactly, Miss Miss Shatika. Those McCain deep and delicious cakes were light for me. I could eat a whole one to myself. Little tiny toothpick kid I was. Yep. Because if the lid was off, it did not stand a chance.
So I figured out why I didn't have the headphones plugged into the right mixer, because I have 3 mixers in front of me, and one is for plugged into a different computer. The other one is to run more mics. So I just didn't have her headphones. Like, why can't you hear? I turn it up. Oh, that's why I haven't plugged her headphones in.
And you know what? One of Paul's
there you go.
favorite things is if I try to touch his equipment. Like if I look
Don't do that. Don't
I just need to turn the volume down.
Don't touch that. You don't know what you're doing.
Well, actually, I beg to differ because where are we? You don't know this. I do have a radio background.
Yes, I know.
Okay, well,
But
not
you don't know
everybody
this
is.
equipment.
I know a mixer.
Yeah,
You
okay.
slide it up or down,
Ye-
louder, quieter, louder, quieter.
Yes.
I worked
it's
I had-
rocket surgery.
I had a shortwave radio show in Costa Rica. This is true. It was the Feminist International Radio Endeavor,
Mhm.
FIRE for short. It was at the University for Peace. And I had no idea what I was doing. And they said, if you show up, you can have a show. And I'm like, okay, I'll be there. 3 buses later. And they stick me in, with them. I had no idea. And technology is not my strength. I'm sure that's obvious. And it was the coolest thing ever. I mean, I don't know who listened, but
It was an international shortwave radio show, so people could have heard you around the world, right?
100 countries it went to.
Wow.
I was terrible. I'm not going to lie, but I had fun.
Well, you did it for the experience, right?
Yeah, and I was 19, so I was just like, woo! Why not?
Yeah, I'll do some of that. Let's do some of that radio. Let's do some radio.
James, I hope you're not giving me a porn name because that's a terrible name.
What?
Jesus Bridget.
Jesus Bridget. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, there we go. Mr. Beaver's signal is back, so I'll bring you back in. Oh,
I'm
he's
sorry, I
laughing.
couldn't stop laughing. I've been laughing ever since you started touching his equipment. I'm sorry.
I could do
Yeah,
it.
it didn't occur to either one of us either, right?
Oh, I'll do it again.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, mother.
Oh my gosh, is your mom?
My
You
mom
guys
watches
just
from
walk
time to
right
time.
into them. You guys literally just walk right into them.
But we do it with innocence, right?
Yes, I know. That's why it's so funny. He just
I'm
said
s-
he doesn't like me touching his equipment. I'm thinking,
I am so sorry, Paul's mom, if you're listening, because one time we were in his car together, and I just reached in and turned down the stereo because I couldn't hear an effing thing, and he called his mom after to say, "You're never gonna believe what she did." He said, "But I'm still gonna go out with her." She's like, "Good for you." Let go a little bit of control.
You don't understand. You don't touch the man's car stereo. She just reached up and turned the volume down. I was like, who does that? I was flabbergasted.
hi, Mr. Grizzly's mom. I'm not responsible today. Today it's on me. Oh, man.
Yeah, this
No, you-
Linda's hit it. I feel like we started the pubcast a day early.
Right? Right.
It's okay. It's Friday. It's Friday. We're trying an experiment here with Mr. Beaver, who is on the road, on the highway, literally on the highway, on his way to Ottawa to join us for the pubcast tomorrow. He's got some stuff to take care of, some business to take care of in the city here, doctor's appointments and such. So yeah, tomorrow we'll do the pubcast. I've got almost everything ready to go for it too. I picked up some more stuff, so transporting it is even easier. I bought a flatbed cart, so I strap everything to the flatbed cart, 4-wheeler, because the other one, it worked great. It worked really well, the system that I had, especially with the new recent addition of more cases, but it's really heavy and hard to carry. So I thought, you know what, why don't I just buy this? It's $100. It's a good investment. I'll strap everything onto it. Boom, no problems. And I can carry more gear if need be. So yeah.
And he does let me carry gear. So after the last pubcast, he said, "Can you carry this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And then I was walking behind him and I said, "Do I look like your assistant? Like, do I have to walk behind you?" I said, "Next time I'm going to get a clipboard and be like, I'm going to pretend to be the assistant." Like,
walk around with a clipboard and look busy.
Yeah, I'll be his rep, his PR.
Well, I'll call you my TA, production assistant.
Like, I'm going to need more coffee, stat. Like, okay, let me write that down.
Oh, here, I got one. Somebody just sent this. I don't know who sent this. They didn't send it directly to me. They just sent it to the feed. This is funny. I'll show you this video. We'll run it in a sec here. This is somebody says, conservatives releasing the bots. And here it is. Here it is. Let's just have a look at this, shall we? There's no sound. But it's conservatives releasing the bots. This is a guy on a bicycle. Look at all these phones. My goodness. Like, how do you see where you're going, man? Look at.
What is he?
That is. I don't know. I think it's. I don't know where it is. Somewhere in Southeast Asia, I think. Definitely not in North America. You'd get arrested for even trying to pull a stunt like that, I think.
I love what you said, Linda. It's so true.
There's just too many screens. He's got more screens than I got tabs.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot of phones. Well, that's let's say that conservatively those phones are $300 a piece. That's a lot of money sitting there. So he must be generating income, and he's not a young gentleman either. We don't see his face, but he's not a spring chicken, as the saying goes. That was my W.C. Fields. Now I know there are tons of people watching this going like, what the hell is a W.C. Fields? Well, there's this thing called Google. If you put it in the Googler, you'll find out there's a lot of people who have stolen from W.C. Fields. Matter of fact, oftentimes it was thought that W.C. Fields and Winston Churchill were almost one and the same. Because they both consumed copious quantities of alcohol on a daily basis. They look similar and they said a lot of the same things. But W.C. Fields came from the vaudeville days, for those of you who don't know. You can look them up. Chickadee, yeah. Right, see? I think we're losing a bit of your feed there. Can you hear us, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you, yes. But I'm,
there's a bit of a delay. So I'm looking at a thing here, and I don't know how much we're going to get into this today, but it's questionable what's happening. For those of you, I'm sure you're quite well aware that Bell Canada, or Bell Media, just chopped 4,800 jobs yesterday, and they're selling off 47 radio stations. Now, here's a question for somebody in the legal profession, because part of their license to broadcast, they have to provide local news. That's a requirement of their license. But they've cut local news right across the board. Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto were the only places that will have local noon and 6 p.m. news. The rest will be right out of Toronto, right across the country. And actually, I think Ottawa and Montreal are getting the Toronto noon feed. I could be wrong. But here's the thing. I just realized something here. It says local news cuts at Bell come after it was granted $40 million in regulatory relief. So Heritage Minister Pascal Saint-Onge, let me blow this up so I can see it a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. Pascal Saint-Onge is accusing Bell Media of breaking its promise to invest in local news after the company was granted more than $40 million in annual regulatory relief. That's the same amount the company says its news division, which includes CTV News and BNN Bloomberg, is losing annually. Facing $40 million in annual operating losses, Bell Media is cutting 4,800 jobs amid across-the-board cuts at parent company BCE Incorporated, which has a higher overall operating revenue than a year ago. This is all about returning money for the shareholders. That's all it is. And of course, the bonuses. What did the CEO earn last year? I think his salary is $900,000 and another $14 million in bonuses or something to that effect. 14 million, or it might have been 13. Either, what's a million between friends? This is just beyond the pale. And apparently I'm not supposed to say that. Somebody said beyond the pale is a racist, bigoted statement. And I don't know how that is. Apparently it is. And if it is, I apologize, but I don't know how that possibly could be. But then again, there you go. You learn new stuff every single day. And I did learn that a little while ago, but I'm trying to curb myself from saying it, but I can't remember why it's supposed to be such a bad thing. It is, though, I'm told.
So if I'm understanding correctly, Bell was losing $40 million on local news and that type of stuff. So the federal government came in and gave them $40 million and then they shut down.
Regulatory relief. Yeah. So I think they're probably in violation of their licensing agreement with CRTC. It's saying, here's a good one. The company is laying the blame for cuts at the feet of regulators and policymakers. But Saint-Onge says the government has worked to help the news industry, and at some point, companies have to chip in too. The Liberal government's new Online Streaming Act came into effect last April and abolished certain licensing fees, which Saint-Onge says will save the company some $40 million a year. So this is all about padding the pockets of the shareholders and the board members and the CEO and some of their underlings. Because if they've saved the company 40 million and the company's like, well, we lost 40 million, we just saved you 40 million. And the company was granted 40 million. So isn't that 80 million? 40 million in savings. Here's another 40 million. That's 80 million, but you cut the news because it cost you 40 million. The math is not mathing here, folks. This thing stinks.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if they gave them 40 million on top of making. Was it 40 million on top of making those cuts?
Well, it's
not
it says here.
The changes to the licensing regulations, or was that
the company was granted
$40 million in time?
Well, it says the company was granted more than 40 million in annual regulatory relief.
Yeah, regulatory relief. Yeah, so yeah, it wasn't two payments of $40 million.
No, they saved them 40 and gave them 40.
They
if I understand.
40 in addition. Okay.
To the 40 million
that's
in savings.
What I'm wondering.
Yeah, well, the wording here is a little difficult to understand, but it says facing $40 million
of regulatory relief means that they've changed the second thing that you said when they changed with the new bill, changed the obligations that they had, which would result in $40 million in savings. So that would be the same $40 million. Just wondering if there was like $40 million in cash on top of that.
So they said they were facing 40 million in annual operating losses. So they're cutting 4,800 jobs, but they were granted 40 million in regulatory relief. So this again is all about greed, nothing more.
Yeah.
Nothing
more.
So
that's what it is. So they weren't handed $40 million in cash, but what they were done is they said, this is the valve, this is the problem that we have. So they changed what it is that they had to do. They basically reduced their operating costs by $40 million by making changes to laws and regulations. And then instead of saying, okay, now we have that $40 million to spend towards that, they decided to cut the jobs anyway.
Yeah, this is greed, nothing more. This is really bad. I think it's possible they could lose their license over this, or at least be up for review, because they are in violation. So here it is. I've got the numbers right here. So BCE, Bell Canada Enterprises, CEO is Mirko Bibic, appointed in January of 2020. He has a tenure of 4.08 years. Total yearly compensation is $13.59 million. $13,590,000, comprised of 10.3% salary and 89.7% bonuses, including company stock and options. He directly owns 0.002% of the company's shares, worth $1.1 million.
Sorry, I'm just saying bye to Vim.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Sorry.
President of Bell Media earns $900,000 base salary. Wade Oosterman, meanwhile, who serves as president of Bell Media, collected nearly $4.88 million in total compensation last year, including a base salary of $900,000. So why don't we just pay these two greedy bastards their salary, get no bonuses? We'll put the bonuses back into the company, into the employees who make the fucking company. And, you know, that $40 million you were saved in regulatory fees by the federal government with the program they came up with. This is greed, pure, simple, and plain. Nothing more. It's all it is.
But on the upside, does anybody know how we go about buying a radio station?
I understand a lot of them have been bought up by smaller independent companies. I don't know how many, but I heard something to that effect. See if I can find the source here. Sold radio?
I would definitely not have a problem owning a radio station. That would be fun.
Well, it's very expensive, but...
Well, it turns out not that well. I mean, I don't know what it is in Canada, but you know, according to the United States, it wasn't that expensive. Because, as I keep on mentioning, that was a strategy that one of the Republicans did. When the radio stations went under, they came in and bought them, and then put them with the shows like Alex Jones and Rush Limbaugh, and just 24/7 blasting in people's ears for a very, very much lower cost than it would take to do a national television ad campaign.
Yeah, I heard something to the effect that 45 stations that they're selling. Bell Media to sell 45 stations to 7 companies in as part of a major restructuring costs. I don't know the names of the companies. Let's see. Why does that not work properly? My screen, I normally keep everything at 125%. For some reason, it's gone to 100. I don't understand that. Bell Chief Legal and Regulator Officer Robert Malcolmson told the Canadian press, it's a significant divestiture. It's because it's not a viable business anymore. We will continue to operate ones that are viable, but this is a business that's going in the wrong direction. Here's the best part. A friend of mine sent me a thing earlier today. Bell, which is selling off 45 stations and axed 4,800 people, operates its radio division under the iHeart Radio brand. Can we say irony? Isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
Don't you think?
Vista Radio is buying 21 stations in the province of BC. Maritime Broadcasting System Limited will acquire 5 stations in New Brunswick. Arsenal Media will purchase 7 stations in Quebec. Stations being divested in Ontario are being split among 4 companies. Whiteout Communications Group Limited, which will purchase 4 stations in Hamilton and St. Catharines. Durham Radio Inc. buys 3 in Lindsay and Peterborough. My Broadcasting Corp. gets 4 in Kingston and Brockville. Zoomer Media buys CJOS FM Owen Sound. No terms for the sales were disclosed, and all are pending CRTC approval. So there's a list here. What I'll do is I will put this link in the chat for anybody who is interested in reading about, because I'm not going to go through the whole thing. There's a lot to read here. But it's telling the names of the companies that are purchasing the stations, which stations are getting purchased, and who's going to help out. So 4,800 people lost their jobs, but will they be rehired under these new companies? It's tough to say. I honestly don't know. I guess that remains to be seen, to be quite honest with you. But I do find it interesting that, we have to cut the news division because it's costing us $40 million a year and we're losing that money. Here's $40 million. Yeah, we're still cutting it. It's greed. It's greed and nothing more. That is it. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
That's a tweet from Jagmeet saying there, like, $40 million went to them. And they didn't get any job guarantees, like, little Tory single story. And I like that you brought that up, because it at least makes it clear that it was like $40 $40 million cash infusion. It was through regulatory cuts. But here's the things. I don't know about you, Mr. Kinley, but I've never remembered a government anywhere, provincial or federal, in my entire lifetime asking for a jobs guarantee for any infusion of cash in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. It's never happened.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the reason for that is. I'm not sure if there's a legal reason that can't be done or something, but it just seems to me that if you're saying that you're going to have to cut a division and cut jobs, if this doesn't happen, then you get the help that you should be at least contractually obligated in some way to maintain those jobs for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all very suspicious. Cassie here, don't a lot of stations use outside programming instead of local now? That is true. But they do, as per their licensing agreement with the CRTC, they do have to provide a certain amount of local news. So I don't know what's going on. Like a lot of, you might have a local morning show, and then the afternoon and all that until they get to the drive home is usually from somebody somewhere else. Yes, please, darling. Someone somewhere else usually has like our friend Laura, who we interviewed a while back. Laura Manella, she works for, I think, 3 or 4 stations. My buddy John works for, I think he's got 5 different shows on. Now, the shows that he's doing are largely on US-based stations, but all from here in Ottawa. And I think he has 3 or 4 in Florida alone. So I think that's kind of interesting. That's another thing too. Hughes stating here, AI doesn't require benefits or a vacation, or and there's a lot of videos that I see online now that are beginning to frighten me, and they're frightening me because they're using AI voices. And here's why it frightens me. I ain't got nothing else, man. Like, when they put me out to pasture because I can no longer do my day job, this was what I was relying on. If they replace us with AI, I'm trying to get my narration stuff going through Audible so I can narrate books. Trying to get some people to grab onto the ASMR stuff. If that all gets replaced with AI, what am I going to do, man? Like, I'm out of opportunities at that point. So it's a little bit scary. It's like I'm not going to be able to go back into construction at 65. It's just simply not a viable option. So I don't know.
That was translation for me. I thought, well, live in an officially bilingual country. I got a job forever. I need one, but nope, no one's AI.
Oh boy, I knew it, and I said it, and guess what? A friend of mine in Toronto. I haven't chatted with her in a while, but she's we met via Twitter through a mutual friend years ago, and I'm gonna post this. It's at Laura Online on Twitter, and let me show you what she just posted here, and then we'll look at the story as well. Because holy Hannah, I said it, and guess what? They're doing it. After announcing the job cuts, Bell said it would push ahead with a more generous dividend payout to its shareholders. And let's take a look at the story. And oh yeah, look at this. Bell Media in the political crosshairs as Heritage Minister calls job cuts extremely disappointing. Profitable firm announces 4,800 job cuts, hikes its dividend payout to shareholders. I said this would happen. And it is. It's happening in real time. Bell's decision to lay off thousands of its employees, including hundreds of journalists, has drawn the ire of the federal heritage minister, who said Thursday the telecom giant has broken a long-held promise to deliver quality local news. Speaking to reporters in Parliament Hill after Bell said it would slash 4,800 jobs, Heritage Minister Pascal Saint-Onge said past governments allowed the company to consolidate media and buy up local TV and radio assets in exchange for a commitment to maintain these services. In the past decade, when acquisitions were allowed by these big companies, it came with a promise, Saint-Onge said. Today, they backed away from that promise. Saint-Onge said it's not like Bell is teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. They're still making billions of dollars. They're still a very profitable company, and they still have the capacity and the means to hold up their end of the bargain, which is deliver news reports. I'm going to put this link to this story in the chat for those of you who are interested. Look, this is really scary what is happening. 4,800 people suddenly have lost their livelihood. Yes, they will certainly get a severance package. what we don't know. And will it be enough? Probably not. There are people who will leave radio altogether and never come back to it. There are probably some decent journalists out there who will just walk away from this altogether because they're like, I just can't do this anymore. It's all very troubling. It's all very disturbing. And again, it all goes back to the almighty dollar. It's just greed. They said it. They said it right here. It's in print. They're going to increase their shareholders' dividends. James got a good comment here. Hopeful those severance packages won't impact the dividends to shareholders. Hey, folks, you want to invest in a media company that's concentrating on giving you local stories? Hi, here we are. You know how to send us money. You just scan the QR code up in the top left-hand corner. I guess is it? No, right-hand. Yeah, left-hand corner, way up over here somewhere. You scan that, and that'll help us out, so we can continue to give you local content, amongst other things. This is what we like to do. We're here to try and bring you some joy and happiness into your day, along with curated news stories that we find important, especially when we, do what we do on a daily basis and call out liars for lying, because we don't like liars and we're sick of them. And I thought it was peculiar, curious, interesting how all of a sudden, Pierre Poilievre, yesterday he did another press conference, and he was in British Columbia this time. So he went from Ottawa to Montreal to BC. I don't even know what he's doing in BC. I think he's having another self-aggrandizing, narcissist, ego-stroking rally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's what it is, but I don't know. Let me see if I can find that story. Okay. There's his Twitter. Now let's see if I can find that story. Oh no, he won't have that story, because it made him look bad when he ran away. When he was in British Columbia, he tried to control the narrative, and in doing so, it just made him look really bad. So here's Pierre. Let's see what's in there. Is that the right feed? Acts the facts. Pierre Poilievre has accomplished nothing since 2004. Pierre Poilievre has a long history of attacking unions' collective bargaining rights. Pierre Poilievre is not a medical expert. He's not a scientist, and he attacks journalists. I'm trying to find the interview from yesterday that went really off the rails, and I can't seem to find it. Alas, that's okay. We'll dig it up for next week.
This is a slightly different topic, but I'm just watching the chat about 3 people at least have said they would be correspondents speaking about local news. So Cassie for Manitoba,
yes,
Hugh for Peterborough, Dan for Ontario's farmer community. Hugh, I would love to know sometime what you think about the encampments in Peterborough in that area. One of my kids is thinking of going to Trent, and I think it's a really interesting city because there's a lot of wealth and there's a lot of poverty and people living on precariously housed or in the encampments. Anyway, that's my political statement for today. Soon I'll go back to Sarah Lee cake.
Sarah Lee. Nobody does it quite like Sarah Lee. Is that how it goes? Sarah Lee. I don't remember. I remember seeing the commercial years ago, but it's been a long, long time. Now, I can't seem to find that interview clip. I'll dig it up for Monday's show. Yeah, I'll have to dig it up for Monday's show. Oh, looks like we lost Mr. Beaver. I don't know if it was a battery issue or if he just lost his signal, but he's gone completely from the feed. So it could very well be just a tech glitch. I don't know. Oh. It all depends on what part of the highway he's on.
And I misspoke, Dan. So you're not representing farmers, but
no, Dan's in downtown Toronto.
I knew that you lived down. Anyway, people do urban farming. You could cover that. No, all of the local politics that you speak about are super interesting. So
yes,
so great if you were a local correspondent.
Well, it's something we're working on. There's a few different things. We've got some pokers in the fire. It's just trying to get everything together and operational at the same time. It's like I only have a limited budget to send out equipment across the country. So, yeah, we're working towards stuff. It takes time.
I wouldn't mind doing I have to admit, I love my community, and it's quite. There's a lot of good things, socially progressive things happening there too. It's also a very bougie neighborhood, so I could do reporting live from Westboro if anyone wanted me to.
Do the Westboro report as if okay. What's happening in Westboro today? So, well, Bridget, what is going to be taking place in Westboro today?
I'm not really sure because I have to go to my yoga class, but then I'm gonna get a kale smoothie, and then I might read the news for 5 minutes and talk about it when I go to Bridgehead for coffee with my friend. And I think we could make a lot of change, but first I need to put on my Lululemon pants and go do a downward dog. It's so hard. Life is hard.
So, and are you going to be walking there? Are you going to be taking the train? Are you going to be driving? What's the?
Oh no. My husband is going to drop me off in the Beaver, and then he's going to take it to the shop to get fixed, which is so irritating because we only have 2 cars, and now one of them is not working.
Are these cars electric or gasoline?
Gas. We have 1 gas and 1 electric, just for the optics, you know.
See, that's the funny part, because that's so much about what it is for those folks, the bougie folks who live in a part of town that like to pretend that they really care about everybody when they only care about themselves. We know this.
I mean, there are good-hearted, politically passionate people,
of course,
in my neighborhood too, but there's a little bit of that.
There's definitely a lot of that. All right, why don't we wrap it up? It's we're getting on to the 90-minute mark, so I think we'll wrap things up for the day. And I'd like to say thanks for everybody for joining us. It's kind of a different show today. Mr. Beaver was able to report from the road, which I thought was kind of cool. We could make that happen. Wasn't perfect, but you know what? It was an experiment to see if it would work. For the audio version of this, I'll go in and clean up the sound. Oh wait, James is asking me to wait. I don't know if I can show that video though. We might get nailed for copyright for that though, James. I did put it in the chat earlier. Let me see here. Maybe we can use it. I don't know. It's one of those things. If I put it up, we might get nailed for a copyright issue, which is my concern. I did put the link in the chat near the beginning here. Let's see if I can find it. It's here somewhere. Hang on. How did you send it to me? I think you sent it via email? The Young PP video. Well, I can't seem to find it here. Just a second. I have my email open. I have the link here. I'll just open it in a new tab. And there we go. Okay, let's have a look at this. Hang on. It's called Young PP, episode 1. And I think this is Frank Magazine. We'll run it, and I have to pull it down later. I'll pull it down. This is going to be funny. I did watch it earlier. It is quite funny. So enjoy this as much as I did. Here we go.
If you want to know where I'm coming from, you have to know where I come from.
Shelley, it's your last day of summer. Go out and enjoy it.
But I have to learn the student handbook. Did you know that extreme hairstyles and mustaches are not allowed?
Look what a beautiful day it is. Go play.
Go play. If only life were that simple. There, I played.
You understand that some people are going to be intimidated by you because of how smart you are?
Or maybe they'll recognize my intellect and make me their leader.
Lord, look after my son. Don't let him get stuffed in a gym bag.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. How about we lose the bow tie?
Why?
Look around, honey. None of the other kids are wearing one.
Well, perhaps I'll start a fad.
No, you won't. Please trust Mommy.
Per the student dress and grooming code, that boy's hair's too long. This boy's wearing sport attire outside of a designated area. And this girl's blouse is diaphanous, which means I can see her brassiere.
What can I get for you today?
Nothing fun today. I need to learn how to make a friend.
Oh, honey. You having a hard time adjusting to high school?
I'm having a hard time adjusting to Earth.
I think I just peed a little. I was laughing.
Well, we might get a copyright violation from that, and I'll just take it down if that's the case. It's not a big deal. I can always edit it out later. It's entirely possible that could happen. I don't know. But let's wrap the show up so we can get on with our day, because I am actually working and I've got a lot on my plate today, along with a bunch of editing I got to get done for the last day or two. If you look to the corner here, that's our TNEB coffee page where you can send us a donation if you like. You can scan that QR code and you can just donate whatever you like. And we appreciate all donations. And because we do have the ability to have super chat now, you can even donate directly to the chat. And if you scan the QR code covering the both of us right now, that'll take you directly to our pod page, podpage.com. /True North Eager Beaver, put a hyphen between each one of those words, and that'll take you straight to our page. Sponsored by the Ray Girl, the fabulous Ray Girl, who has offered to sponsor it again next season. So we're pretty excited about that. And my goodness, that's an incredible amount of generosity because it's not cheap. So we really are thankful for that, Ray Girl. We do appreciate you. We do appreciate your efforts and your sponsorship. And we're looking for more sponsors, of course, because we are trying to grow the show. And equipment, as anyone knows, is expensive. And every time I think Bridget comes over, I have a new piece of gear in here. I'm not making that up. It's really true. It's like, oh my good Lord, man.
And when he's not looking, I adjust settings.
That's why I have to reset everything all the time. That's not cool. Not cool at all. So if you want to, you can scan the QR code on the bottom of the screen. That'll take you directly to the pod page. And if you scan the QR code right over here that I'm going to point to, which is right there, sort of behind the mic here, right up there, right underneath the mic, yeah, there you go. Let's see if I can, there we go. Underneath the microphone, that'll take you to our coffee page where you can donate if you so want to do that. And while we're speaking of donations, the greatest nation in the world is donation. Did you know that? You ever heard that before? No? Oh, come on. Donation. Greatest nation in the world is donation. That's from a movie from the early 90s. Joe Pesci and Canada's own, he just won an Oscar for The Whale. Brendan Fraser. Took me a second there. I wanted to say Ryan because there's a million Ryans, but no, Brendan Fraser. So if you want to donate to that QR code, that'll take you to my ASMR where I discuss mental health and how I'm feeling in a soft, soothing voice on a different microphone. This microphone, to be specific, this is a studio mic. These are broadcast mics. The sound is different because it picks up subtle nuances in one's voice. And I hope you enjoy it. So if you ever want to join in on the ASMR mental health chat, Monday evenings at 9 p.m., occasionally I miss it because life gets in the way, but you can scan that QR code if you like to donate to that fund. And that fund is the one that keeps me operational. So I want to say donation. Yes, exactly. Whoops, donation. Oh, James, there you go. You got a fan club. More Bridget from now on, please.
Oh, thank you. And Miss, you're asking if I'm okay. Do I not seem okay? I'm probably just a little tired. And my brain is, I have to say, my brain is in two places because I'm hosting a gathering this evening for my beautiful youngest kid. And so part of my brain is like, I gotta get home and I gotta do this and I gotta do that. So thank you for asking. I'm feeling good.
I set up a whole karaoke system for her last night. We tested it out. We sang a few songs, and I have to head over there for 6:30 p.m. because they got to get their laptop plugged in and set up and make sure everything works. And they'll have I'm sure they're going to have a great time. I have no doubt they'll have a great time.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And I'm only staying, we're setting up the karaoke, getting them all
Sean, this is how it works, and then we're out.
And the food will be set up, and then I'll be like, have fun.
enjoy yourselves.
Enjoy yourselves. So, yeah, it's a good day.
So, you know what? We started the show in the traditional manner, but I didn't ask you the question, my darling. How is your mental health today?
It's really good today because we got everything sort of set up last night for the gathering, and I had some really good work news yesterday. So
Yes.
earlier this week, I was feeling a bit anxious and underslept, and there were some shenanigans in my life. But a good sleep and time with all these good people this morning, hanging out with you, I feel good.
Well, and the other thing we did last night was I recently set Bridget up with some new audio equipment so that she's got a nice sound system in her bedroom now, and we tweaked the living room sound system.
Mhm.
And we sat around listening to music for a couple hours last night, and I'm not going to lie, I was mesmerized because I had an idea in my head when I was sort of assembling this mentally. Okay, here I'm going to do this. I'll do this. I'll tweak this, do that. I'll add this power amp in, so you'll have a lot more power. But you don't know how it's going to sound until you actually sit and listen to it. And last night we did a critical listening for about 2 hours, if not more.
Mhm.
And both of us were kind of hypnotized and mesmerized. I was just blown away by the sound quality. I honestly, this is what I do for a living, and I was blown away by it. And I was kind of like, hey, you did good, kid. You did good. Me being the kid.
It was really good. And Miss, you're right. Sometimes I do have sad eyes, and sometimes I'm just like thinking about too many things at once. So, but thank you for your concern. I really appreciate it.
Yes, anxiety is the worst. It's absolutely the worst. It's terrible. Depression is horrible on its own right, but I personally find anxiety to be much worse. Much, much worse. Well, there we go. Maybe we can have more Bridget on
Ah,
Friday night show sometime
Thank you.
soon.
I would love that.
That's I don't know if is James. Are you doing a casual Friday this evening? Let us know. Let us know in the chat. All right, we're going to wrap it up and we're going to head on out, and hopefully everybody will be able to join us tomorrow because we will be doing the True North Eager Beaver pubcast. And let me just see, is that there we go. Let me just run the promo trailer. Welcome to the place where everyone knows your name, where everyone's your friend, where good times are had by all. Sit back, relax, pour yourself a beverage and enjoy our company. I know we'll certainly enjoy yours. Welcome to the True North Eager Beaver pubcast. Once a month, we gather at the Lieutenant's Pump at 361 Elgin Street in downtown Ottawa, Canada's capital city, bringing you joy and happiness all day long. So join us for some joy and happiness tomorrow, all day long. The plan is to go live at noon, run till 4. Sometimes we start at 1, sometimes we start at noon. It all depends because there's a hockey game tomorrow. They've got a lot of buses, so it could get very, very loud around 4:30. So we figured we'd cut out at 4 so that you'd still be able to hear us before it gets excessively loud. Are you coming by for that tomorrow, babe?
To be honest, I'm not sure because it's, there's a lot to do today, and then probably catch up on some work and clean my house after the gathering. But I'll definitely be watching, and yeah, I'll be definitely enjoying the chat as always.
All righty. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks to our sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com, our title sponsors and our founding sponsors. We'd like to thank them because they've been with us from day one. They actually joined us before we even had a single product out there on the air. So thank each and every one of those fine folks. We do have a couple of new sponsors. Well, the Ray Girl, of course, sponsors our pod page. And we do have a new sponsor joining us, I believe, in March. I'm not quite sure about that yet, but I'll get back to you. You'll see the ads. You'll hear about it once it happens. But between now and then, I hope you have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and we hope to see you tomorrow. So the words of wisdom today are, if you're feeling good, sit in that feeling and enjoy it for as long as you can, because sadly, sometimes it can be fleeting. And, well, nobody likes it fleeting, right? Nobody likes it fleeting. Okay, hope to see you tomorrow at the pubcast. You take care. Bye.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music.
All right, I'm fully mic'd up over here and over here. All right, this is a good time. Hey, babe, how you doing? Taking photos of me, are you, while I'm broadcasting? Cool. All right, so that's it. I'll hopefully see as many as you as possibly can join us tomorrow. Should be a good time. Looking forward to it. Take care. We'll see you then. Bye.